It is now 6:36, and I apologize for making you guys wait so long. This typically does not happen. We will now reconvene our regular meeting. Dr. Head, do you have any introductions, special guests to recognize?
Yes, we have a number of them, so if you'll stick with me here. One is Faye Lee, who's our new Faculty Senate President from Cy-Fair. There she is. You all know we meet every day. Before every board member meeting we meet. The next one is Christopher Hinosa he is the first Faculty Senate President of Houston North. And then I would like to congratulate Jano Houston for being reelected to the Faculty Senate President at Montgomery. Okay. Got it. Okay. And you have a couple of other things here. You have each trustee was given a signed copy of Complete the Agenda in Higher Education, Challenge Beliefs About Student Success by Leanne Nutt, and it's this book right here. So thank you, Leanne.
Thank you, Leanne.
And I'll get to everybody, just hold on a minute, let me, so we have Jane Stuckerman from the Houston Chronicle, and Jane, you have to stand up so everybody can see who you are. And Andrew Chrisman from the Community Impact. Andrew, thank you. Then we have a student from Kingwood, Macy Harlan, and her father, David. They are observing for Jay Tice's class, and I know Jay's back. Where's Jay? Where is Macy? Oh, okay, Macy. Okay, right there. Okay. So you're here for civic engagement, or for government, or what are you here for? Okay. So you're here just to see what's happening here? Okay. Glad to have you. You do know I used to be the president at Kingwood, right? Yeah. And so I'd like to call up Laura Dupree and Chris Allen. We're going to talk about PTK for a minute.
If you're a member or an advisor of Phi Theta Kappa, please join us. Good evening, Board Chair Dr. Alton Smith, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Head, his cabinet, and audience members. Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. My name is Laura Dupree, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as an advisor to the Alpha Alpha Rho chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, as well as the Texas Region District 4 coordinator of the same organization. As you probably know, Phi Theta Kappa is the International Honor Society of the two-year college. What may not be as well known is that membership into the Lone Star College chapters requires a 3.5 cumulative GPA based on 12 college-level credit transferable hours earned in Lone Star College and current enrollment in 3 credits at the local campus. So who are these students? They are from all walks of life and are wildly diverse in their backgrounds, thinking, and future goals. They are from wealthy and impoverished homes and everything in between. They are native-born Americans with many generations of American heritage, first-generation Americans, international students, and dreamers. They are developmental and ESOL students who overcome math and English challenges. They are traditional, non-traditional, and yes, even dual credit students. They are fully able and differently abled. They are U.S. veterans and active military personnel. They are former foster youth and adopted students. They will be first-generation graduates. They are the students who make significant differences on our campuses and in our communities, such as developing graduation resource fairs or chartering new student organizations such as SAFE, securing adopted and foster education. And these are the same students who consistently earn All-USA Academic Team and Jack Kent Cook undergraduate transfer scholarships, as well as become Coca-Cola and Terry Foundation scholars. They will be tomorrow's leaders, so we must invest in them today. You see, your support, academically, financially, and emotionally, is saluted, because allowing our students' involvement in Phi Theta Kappa literally changes lives. Tonight, we have several Phi Theta Kappa students and advisors that are here to express their gratitude to you for your commitment to their education and to them personally. In a few moments, we will have two of our stellar students provide a brief statement. But first, please allow me to introduce you to Dr. Chris Allen from Lone Star College, University Park.
Good evening. Out of the 92 Phi Theta Kappa chapters in the Texas region, 19 represent District 4, which is Southeast Texas. This year, all 6 Lone Star College Phi Theta Kappa chapters within District 4 collectively sponsored the Texas Region Phi Theta Kappa Convention here in Houston, Texas. Joining us this evening are some of our Phi Theta Kappa students from the different LSC campuses to present the Lone Star College Board and Chancellor Head a special thank you. Our first student is Miss Sarah Wong. She would like to share a few words about how Phi Theta Kappa has impacted her life.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Sarah Wong. I'm an outgoing Phi Theta Kappa Honors and Action Officer for the University Park campus. I joined Lone Star when I was a sophomore as a homeschool dual credit student and came to class visit for several years without really getting involved on campus. I'm so glad that I joined Phi Theta Kappa and became an officer because not only did I find opportunities to give back to my campus, but I also learned how to be a better scholar and leader. As a homeschooler with dyslexia and lupus, I was very self-conscious when speaking and interacting with people, but Phi Theta Kappa has helped me get out of my comfort zone and has given me a chance to work and get to know a diverse group of students with different personalities and leadership styles. Working with my team of officers and advisors is an experience I will never forget, and I'm so proud of what we were able to do and accomplish together. I want to thank you for supporting this amazing organization.
Please now allow me to introduce you to our chapter president from Lone Star College North Harris, Samantha Hurt.
Hello, good afternoon. I am the Lone Star College Alpha Alpha Rho chapter president this year, and a little bit about myself is I'm a former foster youth. I was considered aged out of the system at age 18. I am a single mother of 3 beautiful little boys who all have various levels of special needs, and I started college at Lone Star when I was 25 years old. I almost left campus because I was really frustrated. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, and Dr. Benny Lambert found me, and he saw me crying, and he decided that he was going to walk me around personally around the campus. And he changed my life by introducing me to Laura Dupree, who then introduced me to Phi Theta Kappa. And Phi Theta Kappa has changed my life by allowing me to go to school, receive scholarships because I'm serving my campus and my community. And these scholarships are helping me with continuing education and not having to worry about either putting food on the table or paying tuition and getting books. Because of Lone Star College and Chancellor Head and Dr. Benny Lambert's vision, we were able to charter a student organization called SAFE, Securing Adopted and Foster Education, which helps students just like me come to campus, identify, get resources, and then in return, help other students who are also in the same situation, and we're hoping to reach more students as well. And so we want to thank you so much for your support for Phi Theta Kappa and for helping us with your vision of SAFE. And so we would like to present you with a certificate and a t-shirt from our student organization. Is it okay if I come up and give it to you?
Sure.
For the Board of Trustees and Chancellor Head, we would, on behalf of the Texas region of Phi Theta Kappa, we would like to present you with this plaque of appreciation for all of your support for Phi Theta Kappa and our organization.
Great. Thank you.
Are you the same young lady that spoke at the Scholarship Awards banquet at North Harris a couple of weeks ago? I think you're the one that made me cry.
Yes, sir, I'm that student.
Oh, I'm ready to cry again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Don't leave. How long have you been, Laura, how long have you been at Lone Star?
Since 1997.
Okay. And Chris, when did you start?
2015.
15. All of our campuses, our colleges are very active with PTK, and our presidents are all very supportive of PTK. If I were describing Laura, relentless is what comes to mind. Whenever she thinks something ought to be done, she does not give up until it's done. So most days, if I were starting a new college, you'd be one of the first people I would hire. I'll have to tell you that. Now, other days I think otherwise, but most of the time, no, she is totally committed to what she's doing, totally committed. So, and for you students, thank you very much. We think, the PTK if it's not our premier group, it is right there with, just so you'll know, if you do well at PTK, you're going to do well in life. You really are. So thank you. You and Chris, thank you. Laura, thank you.
Congratulations to all of you.
Chair, I'd like to say something. On behalf, I had an opportunity to participate. I was going to wait to say this, but since everybody's standing here, in the April 16th North Harris induction ceremony. I had never been to anything that was so inspiring and so touching. And kudos to Ms. Laura Dupree. You are great. She is relentless. And to Professor Linda Dodging. You guys are fantastic. And the students and Little Miss, I love you. You were great. I mean, you got it. You're on it. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. You want if you don't mind, we'll get the entire board to stand behind. Okay. Let me get my chair out of the way. Oh. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I thought that was yours. Your hair is long. Thank you. Oh, okay. Very nice. You want to sit on my lap? I said I was. Oh,
Okay. Next, Katie, if you could come up, Katie Caruso. As you know, Katie is, maybe you don't know this, she's the Associate Vice Chancellor, but she's over Honors College. She's also over International, and what am I missing? Is that enough? Okay.
That's fine.
So, okay.
Yes, thank you. Chair Smith, members of the board, Dr. Head, good evening. The Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship is the nation's most prestigious transfer scholarship with a year-long vetting process. Recipients get up to $40,000 per year to help cover the cost of educational expenses, tuition, fees, books, even living expenses for up to 3 years on their bachelor's degree. Additionally, Cook Scholars are eligible to apply for graduate school funding of up to $75,000. It's transformative, absolutely transformative. This year, we were fortunate enough at Lone Star College to see 21 semifinalists. And tonight, I have the pleasure of announcing 3 awardees, 3 recipients for Lone Star College students. So scholars, when I say your name, please join me at the podium to receive your certificate and offer a few brief remarks. Alberto Gonzalez. Diego Degenhardt. And I also want to say that our third, Christina Ware, is unable to come tonight and sends her regrets that she was unable to be here. But definitely when you hear the thank you, she wanted to make sure that you understood those were coming from her as well.
So how many, in the entire country, how many people received Jack Kent Cook scholarships this year?
Only 61.
So, so we received 3 of those right out of the 61. So that's really,
How many were from Texas?
Pardon, how many from Texas overall? I'm not sure because when I made the bar chart, Lone Star was like this and the others not as, we did quite well.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Right. I'm trying to demonstrate humility for our young people here. But there are some entire states that did not have awardees, so we're just absolutely delighted. But let's hear from the stars of the show.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Alberto Gonzalez, and I just want to talk about a couple experiences that shaped my collegiate career here at Lone Star. First, I want to talk about the summer after graduating high school. My original plan was to attend Texas A&M University, and because of multiple reasons, I found that my goal of reaching College Station would not come true. I later decided to attend Lone Star College Kingwood, and if I'm being completely honest, not attending the school I originally planned was a little bit of a shot to my motivation. The Honors College at Lone Star Kingwood helped change this a lot. A week after enrolling at Lone Star Kingwood, I had a meeting with the director of the Honors College, Stephanie Kelly, and she talked to me about all the opportunities available to the students in the Honors College, including traveling abroad for studies and professional research. And this just made me more excited and filled me with more motivation than I even had after graduating high school. The second experience I would like to talk about was just the leadership training. After adopting an officer position in the Honors College, I went through a lot of meetings with administration, like Dr. Pearson over there, and it just helped me develop soft skills that I know will help me in the future even after my education. Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diego Degenhardt, and I am proud to call myself an immigrant from El Salvador and a student at the Honors College at University Park. Through programs in the Honors College, such as the National Model United Nations program, these programs undoubtedly elucidated my desire to pursue a diplomatic future. Training in diplomatic research, conflict resolution, and public speaking not only equipped me with the necessary tools to embody, for example, the United Nations mission for global peace and security, but also filled me with the confidence vital for engaging with fellow diplomats in its defense. I distinctly remember the transformative power behind stepping foot in the United Nations headquarters for the first time and looking at the towering UN symbol sitting above the fabled green podium and how it exuded an aura of world leadership. Through other programs to earn my associate's degree, I participated in the capstone program and found myself in the Russell Senate building in the heart of Washington, D.C., surrounded by policymakers as I interviewed a senator's foreign policy advisor. Through this unique opportunity, I forged a connection between my education and my professional desires. And so with programs like this, I was then able to, in addition, participate in the peer mentorship offered by the Honors College, as well as participate in the N1 instructional team. And this cemented my desire for shining as bright as I could to guide others, demonstrating that there is little that can surpass the sense of fulfillment behind standing as the catalyst of a student's success. And thus, I stand before you confident in just saying that joining the Honors College was the best decision I have ever made. And on behalf of my fellow JKC scholars, I would like to now thank Dr. Kelly, Professor Kaiser, and the rest of the Honors Director team for their dedication to each and every one of their students. Additionally, I would like to thank Dr. Ardalan and Dr. Pearson, as well as all the presidents for leading the campuses, which we have called home for the past 2 years. As well, Dr. Caruso for her selfless efforts in bringing the Honors College to unparalleled excellence year after year. And our champion, Dr. Head, and the Board of Trustees for ensuring that every moment of learning, every moment of growth, and every opportunity that is unparalleled in the Honors College is possible. Thank you.
A couple of quick questions. One, I guess last year, I happened to be at Sci-Fair, and there were honors scholars presenting their research, and I happened to visit one of the sessions. Then I couldn't just stop at one. I went to 2 or 3 more. And I have never seen students at your age group doing the type of research that you do. I didn't do that type of research until I worked on my doctorate and said, well, these guys are way ahead of me. I'm so enthused with it. Every year I'm going to one, whether I'm invited or not, so I'm going to Kingwood tomorrow to watch Kingwood students perform. And because I am so impressed with the caliber of work that the students and the faculty are doing to make our students worldwide competitors. And one of the things you all didn't mention, though, is what's next as far as college.
I'm not 100% sure yet, but my most likely result will be finally being able to go to Texas A&M after the long journey here at Lone Star that I enjoyed very much. And my mom tells me all the time that if you don't have to work hard for what you want, then it's not worth anything at all. So Lone Star made it worth it.
Thank you.
For myself, I have to generally thank the Honors College for helping me find exactly what I want to do in life. Coming out of high school, my options weren't very broad. U of H, UT, financial aid was also not very good. And so now I stand before you hopeful that Rice University will come back with a positive answer.
Oh.
Also looking forward to Northeastern University, George Washington University, or UT Austin again for political science.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you. Great. Hold on. Go.
A meeting like this.
Thank you. So that is all of the introductions, right? I've got the other part in a minute. Okay. So that's all the introductions.
Okay, action item number 1.
Yes. So
Board members, we have action items later on that we are going to work on, but because of unique circumstances, we're going to hear action item number 1 now, so that the individuals involved can make a choice of staying longer or leaving after this. So Helen?
So while Helen's working her way, Mike, can you come up? Oh, okay. You already, okay, yeah. So you can, you have to stand up. So Helen is going to read something, but I've known Mike McFarland is one of our, he's been named emeritus. So when did you start working?
1976.
So Mike was working when I started in '84, but Mike and I've known Mike for a long time. He is one of the most committed people that we have in our college system. And she's going to read the piece of it, but if there's anybody that deserves this award, it's him. He's gone above and beyond for as long as I've known him. He's one of those most committed people that we have in our college system. And we have a lot of committed people, but Mike's like all in all the time. He's retired, but he still can't figure out what he wants to do. So he's like, Mike, just go home. So, and I've known his wife for a long time. She worked here for a long time. She used to work for me, actually. And Mike's just a really good human being also. So with that, you can read all the other stuff if you want.
This is a resolution from the Lone Star College System Board of Trustees. Whereas Professor Michael McFarland served Lone Star College as a faculty member from 1976 to 2018. And whereas during Professor McFarland's 42 years as a Lone Star College faculty member, he served as professor of English, taught the college's first creative writing courses, as well as basic freshman English before branching into teaching English literature, science fiction, great American musicals, film as literature, film as drama, co-taught with a drama professor, and faculty director of the campus's Writing Center, led faculty for the English department, and was a faculty fellow for the Adjunct Center for Excellence. And whereas Mike developed and sponsored a campus writers club with speakers, a book sale fundraiser each year, and eventually an active off-campus writers group that produced the magazine No Experience Required, which was published quarterly for several years following. And whereas, as part of his strong commitment to students in and out of the classroom, Professor McFarland worked as an evening advisor and placement test proctor, the Texas Academic Skills Program, exposing him to the lives of students outside the classroom. And whereas Mike also helped students in the Teaching and Learning Center, where full-time writing faculty served as one-on-one tutors for students who were not their own, and as a result, got a close-up view of student perspectives not possible in the classroom. And whereas Mike was involved in several student success initiatives, including Achieving the Dream, C-Center, Foundations of Excellence, Completion by Design, and the Chancellor's Ad Hoc Committee on Student Success, and therefore it be resolved that the Board of Trustees confers the title of Professor Emeritus to Professor Michael McFarland in honor of his long and distinguished service to Lone Star College, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall serve as a permanent record of the esteem and respect accorded to Professor Michael McFarland by the Board of Trustees, his colleagues, faculty, staff, students, and community members whose lives have been enhanced by his commitment, support, and service to higher education and Lone Star College.
You can say whatever you want to say.
Well, I was hired in '76 by Mr. Thorne and Mr. Dr. Arola, and started with the first permanent buildings at North Harris. I wasn't the 3 previous years, but 42 years in the career I've had at North Harris has been the greatest treasure of my professional life. There's always been constantly, every year, a new challenge, a new involvement with students that's made it worthwhile every single minute. So thank you.
Great, Mike. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland, I didn't know your name, but I've known you for a long time by sight. And I guess a couple of things that I'm very, very impressed with, and I'll just mention one of them, is when I read over the resolution, I said to myself, Alton Smith, this is a guy or a person that goes over and beyond his normal assignments. And what would we are great now with all of our employees, but I wonder sometimes what would this place be if everybody followed the same work ethic that you have over the 42 years. And thank you for that service. And I'm sure we can find volunteer stuff for you to do on an ongoing basis. All right. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
So, thank you, Mike. So we have a second, we have a second award, well, not an award, but an emerita, and we will have her come back when she's in town, Ramona Cortez. So we had two people named one emerita and emeritus. So we'll make sure that she's recognized because she's really had some outstanding accomplishments herself at Montgomery. So again, thank you. That's interesting. If you don't know what he was talking about, Dr. Thorne, Mr. Thorne was the first president that we had of the college. He helped create the college. His picture is up there on the wall right there. And Dr. Arola, who hired me, I came in the week that Dr. Arola took over from Mr. Thorne. So I was looking at that picture up there and I was thinking, I saw the first 4 and I was thinking, well, there's a lot of old guys that work here. And then I looked down there and I was down below that group, so I'm part of that group too. But Mr. Thorne, for those of you who are new, and Dr. Arola were 2 of the early creators of the entire system. So good. Great. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, board members, that was action item number 1 on the consent agenda, and it was adopt resolution award for Professor Emerita and Emeritus. I would like to have a motion and a second to adopt that resolution. Yes, second. It's been moved and properly second that we adopt consent agenda item number 1. And again, congratulations. I'm sorry, if I forgot. All those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and thank you, Dave, for reminding me of that. Oh, I was just so happy to see my friend. But I have good board members. They keep me where I need to be. Okay, Dr. Head, I think the next agenda item is the workshop, faculty workshop.
Who's the, oh.
That was a meeting.
Well, wait, that's, are you doing it for the workshop, not the, okay. Not the faculty senate presentation? Are you doing it for faculty senate or for the workshop?
For the workshop.
Okay, got it, okay.
Good evening, Chancellor Head, Chairman Smith, and Board of Trustees. I am Jano Houston. This is
Christopher Hinojosa. David Gare.
Donna Willingham.
Zavethia Guillory.
Roger Chambers.
Fay Lee.
and we are the Faculty Senate Presidents. Tonight, we would like to present to you the Faculty Qualities of Excellence. If I could provide just a very quick background. In July 2018, LSC faculty and administrators traveled to Valencia College in Orlando, Florida. Lone Star College has a very collegial relationship with our colleagues in Florida, and we spent the day sharing ideas on faculty professional development, faculty mentoring, and online teaching. These models from Valencia, underpinned by characteristics that their faculty called competencies, were of great interest to us. These characteristics or qualities inform the efforts of all faculty, including professional development and mentoring. The Lone Star College faculty who traveled to Florida were energized with both the beneficial empowerment and increased accountability these models presented. From August through December 2018, the entire group of Faculty Senate Presidents worked to secure the highest levels of administrative support. In November, the Faculty Senate Presidents asked Vice Chancellor Smith to send out the charge to all faculty to develop qualities of our own. And indeed, we call them the Faculty Qualities of Excellence. In January, each Faculty Senate President met with their respective senates in order to get maximum participation from faculty. And then in February, selected faculty from each campus met to choose the qualities we felt most defined Lone Star College faculty. There are 4 qualities that all faculty agreed could be measured. Each quality has identifiers to provide the necessary specificity and prevent overlap among the 4 measurables. Equally as important, and without overstatement, a significant part of the discussion among all faculty in the February group focused on qualities that are as important as the aforementioned 4. However, all faculty agreed that there are crucial qualities to include, such as compassion, respectfulness, innovation, but which could not be measured. While these qualities are critical, it seemed untenable to try to measure such things, and therefore, there were qualities that couldn't be assessed by tools informed by the FQE. These qualities make up the preamble. We present them to you tonight.
As faculty of Lone Star College, we strive to create a notion of world citizenry in our students. In that pursuit, we model ways of thinking and being that incorporate diversity, equality, and equity. I'm going to back up because we're getting feedback. How about that? Okay. Our culture then requires the possession of transcendent qualities that, while immeasurable, are evident in global citizens. We are self-accountable to being respectful of others through clear and professional communication. We are compassionate with our students, colleagues, and ourselves. And we are innovative in the pursuit of learning. Ultimately, we create a culture where learning thrives, people are safe, and we mirror the qualities of world citizenry.
Quality number one, student invested. An excellent Lone Star College faculty member demonstrates commitment to student success by maintaining academic rigor, fostering student accountability, and embracing diversity in all its forms. The identifiers for this quality, the faculty employs techniques that specifically support student success, maintains academic standards while addressing individual student needs, and retains awareness of Lone Star College resources for students and directs students to them as needed.
The second quality is an excellent LSC faculty member is dedicated and invested in one's discipline and exhibits a continual pursuit of knowledge. The identifiers are demonstrates content expertise, communicates knowledge to students, remains current in discipline through professional development, and keeps courses up to date and relevant.
Another quality, pedagogical excellence. An excellent LSC faculty member employs engaging instructional strategies to foster student learning. These are identified by implementing prepared and well-organized instruction, designing assessments that address SLOs and core objectives, employing innovative techniques and advances in technology, encouraging student development, independent skills, and critical thinking, demonstrating ability to be flexible and to adapt to diverse and current needs of students, and provide prompt and appropriate feedback to students.
And then last but not least, we have institutionally dedicated. An excellent LSC faculty member will collegially participate, communicate, and collaborate within the college and community. The identifiers include that they participate at system and campus levels, they collaborate with community stakeholders, they engage in building and or expanding institutional, programmatic, and personal connections, and they foster exchange of ideas, experiences, and opportunities for success in a variety of formats.
So developing the FQE were just the very beginnings. We want to thank Chancellor Head and Vice Chancellor Smith for helping us along the way. We are now looking at using the faculty qualities of excellence with development of new aspects of new faculty orientation and faculty mentoring. We're also going to look at new processes, including faculty evaluations, the development of those. And we're very excited to now start developing tools such as portfolios for faculty and increased faculty professional development. Thank you for your time.
So before you leave, I just want to make sure that the board knows that the faculty developed this. So this is faculty driven. You created the whole thing. The part that you did not include on here was when we first started talking about this. So when we're talking to people that want to come to work here, this is what we value. That's, to me, is, and I agree with you over the orientation and the mentoring, but we have a lot of people that want to come to work here. We have anywhere from probably 100 to 150 applicants for every job these days. So we can be selective, but they have to care and they have to be committed to what we're doing. But the faculty make that decision. So thank you very much for all the work on this. This is great. So thanks.
No, I have just one comment.
Yes, sir.
Is qualities are very, very excellent, et cetera. But the thing I liked most that you presented was how you were going to institutionalize these qualities among all of the faculty members. And I'm very, very pleased with that, especially the evaluations and the portfolios. So,
one thing that makes Lone Star different from some of the other large colleges is our faculty senate presidents actually work together. I think most of the time they actually like each other. And so, at least when I'm around, they do anyway. So it's very important that we agree across the system. We can't have one college having a set of standards and then another one being so far off out of the, I mean, I know every one of our colleges has a different culture, but there's just some fundamentals that we all agree on. So thank you all for working together over this. So.
Okay, thank you
Dr.
again.
Schmidt?
Yes, I'm sorry, brother. What
I'd like to
other
make, I have one serious question and then I have a comment. What is pedagogical?
Okay, good question.
How do you pronounce it?
Oh, how do you pronounce it?
What's the proper
You
pronunciation?
said it correctly.
Okay, all right. Okay, and what is it, please?
So it's going to be the knowing of knowing. So learning about the content area and the knowledge that you need. So it's knowledge.
Okay. And then my statement is to let you know that you have a very serious and very real impact on students. For those of you that don't know, and this is not a discussion about me, but I attended Lone Star College Kingwood and graduated from there, I don't know, when I was 54 years old with my associates, and I attended classes almost exclusively in person. Y'all kept me going. Y'all helped me get through my associates and then to proudly transfer downtown University of Houston downtown, coincidentally downtown, and got my bachelor's and did very well academically with my bachelor's. So I want to thank you for what you do, because we think a lot about younger students, but I like to promote that I represent an older demographic, the person that needed a second career, that needed to take that, oh, he didn't graduate from college, off the table, because it was somewhat of a hindrance to me in politics. So I took it off the table, but I did it with your help. So thank you.
You know, in a joking manner, yeah, in a joking manner, when you mentioned Vice Chancellor Smith, I said, oh, I got a promotion. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Good report.
Excuse me, Helen, could you send us the slides for this presentation? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Any other comment, board members? If not, we need to approve the minutes of April the 4th, 2019 workshop and regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the minutes of the April 4th workshop and regular meeting. Are there any questions? All those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
We had 3 members absent, I think. Saldivar.
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. So 2 abstentions. Thank you. Any special reports? Yeah.
Yes. So I've got a couple of announcements and reminders. One is that 2 weeks ago, we attended AACC, or the American Association of Community Colleges, and so we take, it's usually the presidents and sometimes vice chancellors, but we had 3 or 4 faculty senate presidents that went with us, and so that's the big national conference. I need some help, presidents. How many presentations did we give? 12 or 13, or I know Leanne gave like 12 or something, but you guys know 6, 5, 6. We gave 13 or 14 altogether. I think we broke the record for presentations at AACC. When I was looking through the agenda, I thought, okay, I mean, that's normally, you know, they give us a set amount. In other words, they're not going to give us 12 or 13. I took that as I didn't take it as they needed a filler. I took it as a compliment to our system because we have good things to say. So, and it gave us a chance also to, we go out and eat, and we spend a lot of time, let me rephrase that. It was a bonding exercise too. So a reminder that we have the Foundation Gala on this Saturday. And so board members, if you have not told us one way or another what you're doing, if you would, please, that would be helpful. And right now we have about 600 people we're expecting, and it's going to be at Woodlands Marriott, and it starts at, depending on 6s, okay. We have, don't forget, we have graduation coming up in a couple of weeks, and we have 8,255 students graduating with a degree or certificate, and that's a record, by the way. Keep in mind that in addition to that, we've got almost 17,000 students that transfer every year to universities. I mean, it's amazing what we're producing here. So, board members, you're invited to attend one of the 6 commencements. So, Thursday is Montgomery. On May the 9th is Montgomery. On Friday is North Harris. And Friday is University Park. And Saturday is Sci Fair. And Saturday is Tomball at 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. And that's because of the space issues that we have. And then 2 p.m. is Kingwood. So I would like, we've been spending a lot of time with the legislature, a lot. Dr. Smith's been there, and Trustee Sullivan has been there. We've testified a number of times. Leanne not testified. And Jesse, would you come up, please? And I want Jesse Ayala to come up and give us a brief overview of exactly what's happening. There's a lot going on that impacts Lone Star with the legislature. So,
thank you, Chancellor Head. Dr. Smith, always good to see you. We haven't spent a lot of time together. Trustees, Board Counsel Schneider-Vogel, presidents. We have been spending a lot of time in Austin, as Dr. Head alluded to. The time of the session now, there's 24 days left in the session. Well, after today, there'll be 24 left. So the time frame when bills start dying en masse is really coming, and when the negotiations are really happening on what's going to actually move. So some of the top issues we've been focused on, I'll start broadly with the top issues going on at the legislature that could really affect us, and that number one issue would be property tax reform. It's been a very high-profile issue. It's very much connected to the other high-profile issue that doesn't affect us nearly as much, which is school finance reform, K-12 school finance reform. But those two subjects, because as we all know, our ISD property taxes make up such a huge component of property tax bills generally, has really been driving the conversation. But the Senate has a proposal that would lower the rollback rate for all governmental entities to 3.5%. The House version of that same bill would leave us at our current 8%. It's very much in negotiation. It's very much, they reached agreement this week for cities and counties, and that had been a big sticking point, but community colleges, hospital districts, and other governmental entities are remaining items to be determined, and that's where we fall. Chancellor Head has been talking very closely with Senator Betancourt, who has been one of the leaders in that effort, and his staff and other leaders, and we have essentially told the legislature that we are prepared to live with what the legislature
yeah, I'm just going to add, we are prepared for whatever the number is. We've known this. This is not new for us. And so we put our budget scenarios in that 5-year planning model that we have. Whatever the number is, we're fine. We've spent a lot of time on different scenarios.
So it's not something that we have been investing necessarily capital in to make our voices heard one way or another on how we feel. It's really a matter of just monitoring the situation, and we've been working through TAC, the Texas Association of Community Colleges, on this issue, but that is broadly the largest issue that will affect us as the negotiations come down to the close of session.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Smith.
Before you move on, everybody might know, but I'm not sure. But could you explain what's meant by rollback?
So the rollback rate, and certainly CFO Mott could speak to this far more eloquently than I could, but we set our tax rates every year. We get our appraisal rolls. 75% of our appraised value is in Harris County, 25% Montgomery County. We get our growth year over year from the previous rate, and if our revenue exceeds, I believe it's revenue, correct me if I'm wrong, exceeds more than 8% of an increase at the same tax rate, then we either have to lower our tax rate or go to our voters for approval, hence the rollback rate. Accurate? Thumbnail enough? So we are currently at an 8% rollback rate, which we have not come close to, increasing our revenues 8% and we have in fact lowered our rate 3 times. So,
Since you've been here, we've not come close to it. The first 3 or 4 years I was the chancellor, we lowered the tax rate to stay below the 8.
Because of the growth of the appraisal, yes. So, but as far as the revenues, but we
right.
Right. So at the current 8%, the discussion initially was 2.5%. That number is now 3.5% on the version that came out of the Senate. And as I said, the House would leave us at 8%. The original version of the House bill exempted community colleges entirely, not something that we necessarily asked for from Lone Star. That has been set aside, and the figure that the House and the Senate will go to conference with is 3.5%, 8%, and they can split the baby somewhere in between, or they can get 2/3 approval to go outside the bounds of those two figures in the two versions of the bill. Any other global questions before I talk about particular bills, and then I'll not belabor this too long. Some issues closer to home, as Dr. Head alluded to, Dr. Nutt testified in support of LifePath. Dr. Tom Oliverson, representative from Tomball, has authored a bill that would have the coordinating board recognize our LifePath program as an associate degree program. Dr. Head and Dr. Oliverson's office and I have been working very closely with the coordinating board and Dr. Oliverson's office. That bill passed on second and third reading last week, and now heads to the Senate. So it has passed the House and now heads to the Senate. And we don't anticipate much opposition. The vote was overwhelming in the House, 134-1. So
hold on one second. So this is for students with cognitive learning disabilities. And you mentioned the coordinating board, but the way it's going to read is our board will set the curriculum. So we're going to come back to you. Leanne and Rebecca and her group will work with Dwight Smith. We will come up with a system-wide strategy. It is bracketed to Lone Star only, and we'll do it as a pilot for 2 years, and then we'll roll it out across the state, probably across the country, actually. So thanks to Leanne, a lot of work has gone on this. Leanne and Rebecca both have been working on this, but it's been a lot of work. But they are going to allow us to create our own program here.
Yes, and as Dr. Head said, very importantly, leave it in your hands, trustees, and not in the hands of the coordinating board. With all due respect to the coordinating board, this is a program that Dr. Nutt has developed from here, and certainly with her input to you, we believe you're best positioned to shape the contours of how that will look. Beyond LifePath, we've also been, just this evening at 5:54 p.m., the House passed on second reading on voice vote a bill by Representative Cecil Bell of Magnolia that Dr. Head has been working very closely with him on, that would allow for the coordinating board to approve competency-based programs, degree programs for the Texas military forces. There's a shortage in the Texas military forces. Representative Bell wants to help address that and has been seeking our input on developing that and giving a lot of these veterans credit from their previous service to applying that towards their education and getting them filled in.
So this is not the National Guard, this is the Texas military. And so the governor is trying to grow that from 2,500 to 5,000, but to move up in that organization, you have to have degrees. And so Representative Bell asked if we would help develop that program, which we will. And so it's a good program. I mean, that's we'd like for them to contact us about that because we can do it. So.
And that passed tonight on voice vote with no opposition, so that was very nice. And I'm sorry, alluding back to touching back on LifePath, it is going to be bracketed to us, and we are going to develop it. But as an expression of the interest around the state, our representatives from San Antonio, Austin, and the Dallas area have signed on as co-authors with Dr. Oliverson of the bill. So they are very excited about bringing those programs to their areas after they see how we develop it. Hearing the thunder, I will definitely not belabor. Harvey damage, very important to all of us, especially Dr. Pearson. We've had a $15 million legislative appropriation special item request in. That is in both the House and the Senate version of the supplemental bill. The supplemental bill is how the legislature pays for unanticipated expenses in the current biennium, whose budget was passed originally in the previous biennium. We are in for $13.1 million for facilities damage to Lone Star in both versions. Since we're in both versions, we anticipate that we should be in the final conference report, but we will take nothing for granted until the governor's signature is on the full supplemental bill, because the governor does have line item veto over appropriations bills. We have been talking with the governor's staff, letting them know what our situation is, total damage-wise, insurance-wise, and FEMA-wise, and why we have made this request, and we have received good responses.
From a financial standpoint, that bill is the most important from a kind of an operational cultural, that life path bill, we've had some major victories this year in the legislature. So,
and then finally, a bill that we are tangentially involved in, but is really a local discussion down in the Barbers Hill ISD area. For the last 2 sessions, Barbers Hill ISD has tried to form their own community college because they feel underserved by their incumbent college down there. They did not meet with success in the legislature the last 2 sessions on forming their own college. So this time around, Representative Toth and Senator Creighton filed bills, respectively, in the House and Senate that would allow the voters of Barbers Hill a choice on whether to join our taxing district and join Lone Star College. Those bills have been heard in both committees, and they are both pending right now, and we shall see how the upcoming deadlines affect those bills. But at the very least, a discussion broader on service areas that has been kind of started at the legislature, and I think a lot of legislators are interested in that discussion.
So really what's happening in the broader sense is we have 6 or 7 ISDs that have some interest in joining with us. But the way the law is, it requires them to be contiguous before they can join with us. And we were trying to get that law changed so that anybody that wanted to join with us could have a vote and do that. So I know one thing, we started a bigger debate here about service areas. So in the service area, if you're in the service area, they have you. It's like ETJ. And if the home college doesn't want to do anything, there's not one thing you can do about it. So basically what happens is you're held captive in these service areas. And we don't have that same problem because we've been trying to get our service area, we've been trying to get them to come into our system. But you don't put a center in a service area because they're not providing you any money. They don't pay taxes. And so we don't do that. So we have a great deal of interest in joining with Lone Star. But they have to take the lead in that. By the way, just for everybody, that storm's supposed to be blowing through here. It's supposed to be out of here by, we're supposed to be out of here by 10. I don't think the meeting's going to last that long, but it's only supposed to come through and be really quick. So
I'm happy to answer any particular questions about these bills or any other bills. There are many, many other bills. We are tracking them in government relations. I'm working closely with my colleague Kristen Baker on that. After next week's deadlines and as the end of session approaches, we will know the field that we are dealing with, and we will be providing updates to you on all the bills that passed during the session that affect us. You know, ad valorem exemptions and other things we will take all this into account.
One thing I'd like to add before he sits down is these relationships that we've built up, and it's not just what we do, it's what trustees do also. They all pay off, they really do. So if you know somebody up there, it helps if we have introductions and they know what we are, who we are and what we're trying to do. Representative Wiley has been very helpful. And Trustee Sullivan had introduced me to some other people, some people that we, Brandon Creighton, Senator Creighton and Senator Betancourt and Representative Toth, Representative Wiley. They've all been, Valerie Swanson, they've all been very supportive. I'm surprised as we go talk with them, and we've talked to everybody. I can't tell you how many people we've talked with. The ones that are in our area, though, know us because they either went to college here or their kids went to college here or somebody went to college here. So all that pays off over the long term. So when you know somebody, let us know so we can talk with them. So it pays off. Whether it pays off now or later, it just pays off. So.
And certainly not within just our delegation, but we have been meeting with all the members of the higher ed committees, appropriators, and Dr. Smith, to his credit, there have been days when the Capitol is very crowded and we don't see an elevator because we're going up and down stairs all day long, and the time and effort that Dr. Head and Dr. Smith have devoted, and to be able to see Trustee Sullivan up there and the introductions he's made, and Trustee Saldivar, early in the session, you helped us out on getting a very quick turnaround on an appointment with Representative Wally, who is, of course, on appropriations and higher ed. So it's been very, very helpful in the time and devotion that Dr. Head and Dr. Smith have put into it. The importance to us.
Unless you're wondering whether we work up there, a couple of us, I can speak for myself. I call my wife at 7:50 and said, I'm done. I've already taken a shower and I'm in bed. She goes, it's 7:50. I know, but we had a really long day.
We've had a 12-hour day.
So it's 7:50.
So, back to back games.
One of the things I want to point out, I pride myself in being physically fit, but on the third trip, I had to take a walking cane. My knees were killing me, and so I'm still suffering from that, but I'm not eligible for workers' comp, so I'm on my own. And I would like to say, the other thing that Dr. Head mentioned was I remember when Dr. Head was testifying, and he was telling the Lone Star story. And the elected official said, I know about Lone Star. I don't want to hear about Lone Star. Lone Star is great. Tell us about so and so and so and so. And this guy was not in our area at all, but he knew just as much about Lone Star as we did. So, thank you for making the Lone Star name a name that is envied in every section of the state and the country. And also, I want to thank Jesse. Jesse taught me how to track legislative bills and the secretary. I have the program on my computer. I can't use it because Jesse gave us updates every night, so I never had to look at it. So if I'm here the next time around, you need to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Okay. I look forward to any questions that any of you have. I'm happy to answer at any time. Please reach out at any time.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, we got one other thing. No, go ahead. So my last comment, I want to make sure everybody knows, because it happened between the last board meeting, we received official notification that Houston North has been officially accredited by SACS, and I want to thank Dr. Wright, Quentin Wright. That's a heck of a lot of work, and Dwight Smith has been helping a lot with this, and there's a lot of people involved in making sure that happens. So we're putting all of our budgets together. We will make sure that Houston North is going to be fully funded, and we'll be ready to go in the fall. It's already in this. We already have it listed, and you're going to be seeing us changing our letterhead and everything from our board agenda items to everything will include our 7th college. So I'm excited for them. I think this is going to be really different. It will make a major difference in the community and what we do at Lone Star. So thank you, Quentin.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Dr. Rowley, are you making the president's report? Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Smith, Chancellor Head, and board members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share some really amazing accomplishments this evening. This is our favorite part of the year. I think all the presidents would share my sentiment. We love the commencement season because it's celebration season for our students. We've actually been celebrating all week and actually for the last couple of weeks on all of our campuses with the weeks have been filled with student award banquets, recognizing students for their academic competitions and showcases, their art shows, their performing arts performances, leadership in student organizations, sports and community service, among many, many other activities. So the last couple of weeks have been full of all sorts of prizes and awards for our students. Tonight I want to highlight a few important accomplishments from our students. As Dr. Head mentioned, we will have commencement exercises next week, and he noted that nearly 9,000 students will be graduating next week. By the time it's all said and done, because we don't actually finish counting all of our graduates until the summer is over, we expect to graduate probably close to 10,000 students this year. So it's really going to be a banner year for us. Among my favorite accomplishments this year, as you have heard about the Life Path program, which started 4 years ago at Tomball, that means we have our first graduates this year. So here's a picture of 4 or 5 of the 6 new graduates who are the first completers of the 4-year Life Path program. And their names are, from left to right, Kenneth East, Matthew Wallers, Sabrina Esparza, Ariana Anaya, and Christopher Bell. Not pictured is Stephanie Montalvo. So this is our first graduating class from Life. We're also graduating a lot of students from our early college high schools. As you know, these are partnerships in our service area with high schools in which students are able to enroll in both college and high school courses at the same time, beginning sometimes as early as the 9th grade. They accumulate college credits while they're accumulating high school credits. Overall, this year, about 220 early college high school students will graduate from Lone Star College as they're graduating from high school. Some of those students many of those students have completed, they've completed their associate's degrees, but many more have accumulated significant number of college credits, even if they didn't finish an associate's degree. So this picture is from last year, since these commencement exercises haven't happened yet, but these are proud Infinity Early College High School graduates from 2018. Early College High School expands access to higher education by encouraging students who might not necessarily be college bound to enroll in college. Students are able to accumulate credits for college through career and technical education as well. It's not just academic transfer. So students enroll in high school and get dual credit, college credit for everything from welding and machining, computer sciences, to health occupations. So here is a picture of a partnership, students graduating in a partnership between Lone Star College Tomball and Klein ISD. And these students from Klein have completed their certified nurse assistant program while in high school and are now eligible to continue into the LVN program and perhaps eventually into the ADN program. So this is another way for students to get a jump on their college careers while still in high school. All of us here at Lone Star College believe our students are outstanding. And it happens that NASA agrees with us. Lone Star College Sci-Fair students, some of you may remember this from last year, invented a zip tie cutter tool that will be used aboard the International Space Station during planned spacewalks. The students have been invited to NASA's Kennedy Space Center to attend the July launch of the SpaceX cargo vehicle carrying their invention. That's the top photo there. Also, the team of engineering students down on the right that you see here received 4 first-place awards in the 2019 Texas Space Grant Consortium Design Challenge. Say that fast. As winners, they will test their camera attachment mechanism design in NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab in June. And then on the left, LSC Montgomery biotechnology students are currently participating in an experiment with NASA scientists who are investigating the effects of microgravity on algae production of antioxidants. So the LSC students are going to work on the experiment with the control group of little algae here on the ground, and Montgomery algae is going up into space tomorrow, right? May the 3rd, tomorrow. So we're going to have a launch party tomorrow for the little green algae going into space. So those students are looking towards the future, but we also have students who are immortalizing the past and understanding the value of our heritage. Lone Star College Sci-Fair anthropology students have been working with UNESCO on a project titled Site of Memory associated with the slave route for Houston's Emancipation Park, Olivewood Cemetery, Antioch Church, Barbershop Property, and Reverend Ned Pullum Property in Freedmanstown. The students are recording grave markers and using drones and ground-penetrating radar to find artifacts. Finds are processed and organized, and the students are also digitizing 120-year-old burial records for the Heritage Societies. Now, you met our Phi Theta Kappa leaders earlier today. What they didn't say to you was they didn't brag yet enough on all of their prizes that they won this year. So I'm going to tell you how well they did at the regional and international conferences this year. Our campuses were highly decorated. Chapter awards included 5-star chapters, Texas Top Chapter, Distinguished Chapter, Continued Excellence Award, Distinguished Advisor Team, Distinguished Officer Team, Distinguished College Project Award, Outstanding Honors in Action Project, and recognition for increasing membership, among many others. Students and advisors also received many individual awards, such as Distinguished Officers, Distinguished Advisors, Officer Hall of Honor inductions, and Officer Hall and Advisor Hall of Honor inductions. As was mentioned before with the SAFE program, those honors in action programs are not just things on paper. They really do result in meaningful projects, such as the Securing Adopted and Foster Education program that was created as an honors in action program. Each year, Lone Star College students at all campuses have the privilege of participating in the unique experience of the Model United Nations. Student groups are assigned a country and are asked to represent their needs. This year, our colleges were assigned to the Czech Republic, Uzbekistan, South Sudan, and Comoros. Our colleges were recognized with honorable mentions, and 4 colleges were noted as distinguished. 1 college received the Outstanding Delegation Award at Model UN this year. Yes?
Where is Comoros?
That's a really good question. Nobody gave me the answer to that here. Who's a geography person? I honestly don't know. I'm sorry. It's spelled here, Comoros. Somebody Google that.
Yeah.
And when you find out, we'll catch up.
Yes.
Yes, where is it? It's an archipelago. That's what she's trying to say. It's an archipelago.
Island country in the Indian Ocean, located at the northern end of the Mozambique.
Did you, an island nation at the northern end of the Mozambique Channel.
East of Mozambique.
East of Mozambique.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We all learned something tonight. So you've also just met our Jack Kent Cook Scholars. So I want to give you just a little bit of additional information. And of course, since Christina Ware was not here this evening, now you get to see what Christina looks like. There are 5.8 million community college students in the United States. 61 of those received the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship this year, and 3 from Lone Star. So that's pretty cool. So you met Alberto and Diego earlier tonight, and the person on the right is obviously Christina. So there are so many things we could brag about this evening. As I mentioned earlier, we've been having student awards banquets all of the last couple of weeks on all of the college campuses, and I'm just amazed at all of the things that our students are doing. Tomorrow, most of the honors college students are going to be presenting research. You mentioned you're going to attend one. There are so many things we could brag about, but I thought these were some of the highlights that might put you in the mood for commencement next week. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Board members, do you have any activities that you've participated in the last month that you would like us to know about and the general body to know about?
Are you all giving a report?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you are?
That's my fault.
Okay.
That's all you know.
Come on up. I'll do it over. Come on. I thought maybe you had incorporated both of them into one.
Correct.
Okay.
Good evening again, Chancellor Head, Chairman Smith, Board of Trustees, and distinguished guests and colleagues. The word of the evening tonight, as it pertains to learning, is experience. relevant learning experience. To this day, I hate secondhand cars. Almost everything that's ever gone wrong in my life, I can trace back to a secondhand car. Secondhand cars made me get detention for being late for school. Secondhand cars left us hitchhiking on the side of the freeway. A secondhand car was also the reason my mom got married. If it hadn't been for the Volkswagen that didn't work, we never would have looked for the mechanic who became the husband, who became the stepfather, who became the man who tortured us for years and put a bullet in the back of my mother's head. I'll take the new car with the warranty every time. This evening, I would like to present to you an uncommon approach to a common reader. And Montgomery Campus calls our approach One Book, One Campus. So what is One Book, One Campus? Well, it has to do with a common reader experience. And very briefly, there are universities and even two-year colleges that will choose a single book, and they will have typically all incoming freshmen read this book, and in a way, it helps cohort the incoming freshmen. And then what ends up happening is they will develop assignments that are outside of class or reading circles or discussion groups that actually help tie these students together. Now, for our particular common reader experience, the word experience is where we place our emphasis. And we also look at how we can embolden interdisciplinary relationships and improve cross-curricular connections. Now, structurally, our One Book, One Campus is part of the ACE division, and I have to say that because it has to do with academic excellence. And this evening, I would like to introduce our Dean, Sarah Palacios Wilhelm, who has been a wonderful support for us. Thank you. So as you know, we have a common reader experience, and also Cy-Fair, Kingwood, and University Park do as well. We are under the understanding that Tomball wants to investigate that, and probably North Harris. And Houston North, we had the conversation about pathways last month or last week. So these are the current campuses that are using common readers. And what we want to do is we want to start scaling up our common readers so that we can actually start connecting with our sister colleges on that aspect. But just to let you know very quickly, the ACE division is comprised of the Learning Center and Library, Faculty Resource Center, Center for Civic Engagement, Undergraduate Research Institute, and of course, One Book, One Campus. It's all about experience. And it's about experience that these students tonight have had based on the common reader that we chose. And you'll hear a little bit more about this book coming up, Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. But Miriam, would you come up and read your excerpt? So these are very short excerpts from essays or aspects, and you'll hear from a mixture of our students tonight.
Good evening. I am Miriam Perez. I'm from Mexico, and I want to share how Trevor Noah's book relates to my life. As a child, I was a poor girl living among the rich. This made me very unhappy. I felt I never belonged. It was like living between two worlds. Many aspects of Trevor's life were identical to my life. I suffered poverty, rejection, and a covert racism because of me being poor. I feel that now, as an adult, I can see differences as more real, and I am aware of injustices that I didn't see when I was a kid. I think the world's suffering and injustice are not fully understood from the eyes of a child. They just feel them, but they cannot understand. Sometimes, when raising our kids, we think that we would like to save them from all the world's suffering and just give them all of what we didn't have. We would like them to live inside a bubble, so nothing can hurt them. But after doing a deep reflection of my past, I can see that the bad moments and adversities, the struggles, are what formed my spirit and made me become a strong and independent person. My grandma used to tell me that we were rich with no money, and now I know she was right. I grew up among working women. Women are really amazing, I can tell you. Even though they are mistreated, abused, and rejected, they have the strength to educate their kids, to work, and to do whatever they need to keep their families stable. As Noah said, when you strike a woman, you strike a rock. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. I want to also discuss not just what is One Book, One Campus, but who is One Book, One Campus. And you will hear a few more experiences as we go through the last little bit of my presentation. But I want to say that even though the ACE Division oversees One Book, One Campus, we've intentionally included faculty from every single division on our campus. So it includes everybody. I just want to introduce very quickly the faculty who are here tonight. Trey Broadhurst, okay. Sarah Chapman, Lori, you guys can kind of stand up a little bit so they can see you. Lori Hughes, Lana Myers, okay, and Angela Colmenares, okay, and then you also saw Sarah, and I think, and the other people could not be with us tonight. But these are the faculty who are committed to actually integrating this common reader into their classes. And then what we do is we don't stay in silos. We actually create activities and we create experiences so that our students can interact with one another. So you might get a biology professor who's actually sending his students to a government activity or a government lecture. And you will also get a situation that I'm going to describe to you in just a second. Oops, I didn't, we adjusted that video, so hang on one second. But I want to, before I get to that, I want to play this video for you. It'll give you some background on Trevor Noah.
Born mixed race, he grew up in South Africa during a racially segregated time known as apartheid. It was it. You must remember, apartheid was the best racism, and this is not a joke in that. People don't realize how well thought out apartheid was. His mother was South African and black. His father, a Swiss national, was white, so that his parents, legally forbidden to marry, broke the law not only for being together, but also by having him. He calls his new memoir, Born a Crime.
So Trevor Noah is from South Africa, born into apartheid, and he is actually the most recent host of the Daily Show. When Jon Stewart abdicated that position, he took over. Now, some of you may not watch the Daily Show, but our students do, and that's where they get quite a bit of their news, actually. You're going to see slides that look very similar to this, and these are transition slides. You can read them in between the most important part, which is our students. Okay, and Elvie, would you like to come, please? Elvie, introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Elvie. I am originally from Colombia. I wanted to go first to setting about what racism is considered in Colombia. Like Miriam, coming from Mexico, in Colombia, racism comes from being rich or poor. It is not who is white or who is black. So once I got here and migrated with my parents, as a child, it was a shock to me that when I was in daycare, I was placed at the age of 3. My teacher screamed at me all day. And she would scream, and I held my teddy bear, and I sat all day from 6 a.m. to about 6:30 p.m., and she screamed at my mom and told her, "Your daughter has an attitude." And my daughter then told her, "So she looks black to you, but my daughter's actually Colombian, and her first language is Spanish." That gave her a discount for a whole month, which was great on that end, but it came with repercussions. And so at that age, when my mom finally explained part 2 to me of why that teacher was upset with me, that taught me racism is not the same in every country. It also taught to me that now that I am in America, I have to take into consideration my skin color, not my source of income. And so when that became a barrier for me, I found myself in a bubble. But I had a very cool bubble to go to, and that is my biotechnology program. An amazing source of hope for me because it put me in a bubble where I drive from home to another safe place, and it allowed for me to learn in a safe environment. It allowed for me to be open about my ideas and the fact that there was respect amongst so many different faces, so many different background religions that really helped me learn through emotion and not learn through repetition. That was a very important aspect of why I'm able to graduate this year and to even continue my education through MD Anderson, doing a bachelor's in cytogenetics. With this in mind, the book itself kind of wafted me in the face because it reminded me that we're in such sensitive times. It helped me keep an open mind, be respectful about those around me. Consider that just because my beliefs are different from others, it doesn't mean that they are wrong. It means that their upbringing caused them to think that way. And so keeping that in mind, it's helped me to learn. It's helped me to be more mature. Sometimes my mom says I teach my own elders. And it's made me a better person to this day. And I'm extremely thankful for the group that I was able to become a part of because I ran to this program by accident, not by choice. And so with that, I will leave you on with your next guest, who is Mace.
Thank you, Elvie. Okay, so this is our next transitional slide, and I would like to have Ms. Mace come up, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mace. I'm originally from Iraq, Baghdad. So one of our conversations about or discussions about the Borna crime, Dr. Houston asked us what a broken window represents to you. So, and I shared my story, and thanks to Dr. Houston, I'm able to share it today with you all. Thank you. So, a broken window usually reminds us of poverty or a dangerous neighborhood, but it has a different meaning when you came from a war zone. In Baghdad, my hometown, a broken window represents the struggles that we've been through. Behind the broken window in my home, a TV my grandpa gifted to my parents in their anniversary. All he hoped for us is to watch cartoons and have a happy moments together. I'm sure he did not expect us to see in the news how a truck exploded in my family's neighborhood. We saw their exploded homes, their blood on the walls. In that day, we lost more than 50 innocent souls. One pregnant lady was found dead, and the baby was separated from her body. A broken window for me is a visual marker that I've survived that war, and I can survive any hardship life will throw on me. A broken window is a history to pass to the next generation to appreciate what they have. And hopefully, it is an inspiring story to tell. Thank you.
And last, I'd like to bring up, this is the next transitional slide, and Ms. Maya, would you like to come up?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maya Levkovitz. I am from Israel, and I would like to share some of my experiences with you today. So growing up, Trevor had two dogs, Panther and Foofy. Panther was considered the smart one, and Foofy was looked on as stupid because she never came when she was called. In fact, when the dogs were both called, Panther would go and call Foofy to come. For years, Foofy was loved, but was looked on as stupid, and the family called her stupid. When Foofy passed away, they found out that Foofy was actually deaf, and they realized their mistake, and Foofy wasn't stupid at all. She just couldn't hear. And as a dog lover, I felt connected to Foofy's story immediately because I found all of our stories in it as well. As an international student, getting accustomed to speaking English was hard, and I still don't always understand what everybody says to me. But because I don't really have an accent, I sometimes get these looks, and I think most of us get these looks sometimes, like, they don't say it, but are you stupid? And as college students, we are all different. We have difficulties, or we have disabilities, and some of the times these are just not visible. And when it's not visible, it's almost like it's not valid. And they make us look stupid or other things. But like Fufi, I think we can all learn to live and compensate for these disabilities or deficiencies. And perhaps our biggest hurdle is to challenge the uninformed opinions of others in these scenarios. Thank you.
So as I finish, I just want to let you know that we are working hard to try to collaborate with some of our sister colleges, and we would like to scale up, but we're also working hard on campus to actually get our next common reader. Would you like to show that to them, Angela? And it's this, we've chosen our next common reader for, it's Huga, and it has to do with happiness, and we're going to be studying the Danish aspect of being happy, so, all right. These are all of our this year's activities, and then you'll see the common readers on the blue bar below. I just wanted to tell you as a board, thank you so much for what you do to support us. Really, sometimes our students get accused of not wanting to read and not wanting to do work. Our students read all the time. We need to make it relevant to them, and it has to be about their experience. Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah, can we get copies of, for the board and me also? We'll just get copies for everybody the previous book and the book that's coming up. The only other thing I would add is I was born and raised in this country, and I frequently don't understand what people are talking about. So I wouldn't every day. So,
You know, one of the things I want to say, I'm glad that the system wouldn't let me forget you. This was very meaningful to me as an individual. Thank all of you for sharing your stories.
one thing, we had some other meetings last week. I was talking about one of the things I'm most proud of is at Lone Star, we have cultures. We're very diverse here, and we value that diversity. And I think when we hear discussions like this, it helps us to understand a little bit more about, you know, Latin American history was one of my fields, and I understand I just never thought about it the way you just presented it, right? I mean, so, and we didn't grow up in war, and I hear what you're saying about the dog issue. That's pretty, I like the analogy there. So, very good. Thank you. That's great.
I'd like to thank you also very much.
Yes. Okay, board members, you now have the opportunity to talk about things that you have been involved with over the last month. So go ahead, Art. I see you anxious to go.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I too, I was inspired. Thank you so much. It really means a lot that, you know, you come out and share that experience with us because it means a lot. One of the great things about being able to witness this as a trustee is just being part of that experience that you know, every day, everything that happens. One of the things that we enjoy, meeting students from different backgrounds, the most diverse community in the country. Talented students with bright futures, different, just like this board, we're all different. Well, I was fortunate to be able to visit with Dr. Nutt last month, right? For their annual program for the Path, it's called the Life Path program. And I told her I'd been wanting to go every year, and something goes on that day, I can't. She says, this year, I'm going to take that day off, I'll be there. Sure enough, I was there, and I can tell you, I really enjoyed it. I probably spoke to a couple of dozen of those students. Inspiring, motivated, quiet, quirky, funny, you know, everything, just like every student, just the rest of the students. And I like the fact that it is raising awareness about some of the things you mentioned, you talked about. We all have different challenges. Science is, you know, hopefully you're hoping that science and knowledge is improving so that create awareness so that the students that didn't think they could do it, they can. And sometimes this is what it takes, what we're doing here, what we do here. So thank you, Dr. Nutt, for what you do, and thank you for inspiring me and And when I hear that we're Austin, I think you mentioned that that we were up in Austin that day or that week about this. I couldn't remember that. I know I had seen it somewhere. So I think we're not only changing. I mean, we do this in hopes of changing the lives or improving the lives of some students, and they end up transforming ours. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Art. Linda?
Thank you. So the event that I attended is only tangentially related to education, but it is very much part of common experience and examples of how unexpected events can affect populations. And Steve, I know, wants to know about this. I had an opportunity to go to Puerto Rico for 5 days in early April. I was sent for some corporate training. And I can tell you that the island is almost back together, although as you drive from the airport to downtown San Juan and back, you see buildings that have caved in. You see trees that no longer have any leaves. And I was told that the trees that don't have any leaves by now are dead and are not coming back. And on one side of the bay, as you fly in, you see nothing but blue roofs, because there are still significant pockets of damage that have not been repaired, and 10% of the island is still without electricity. Still. It's almost 2 years. But these people have done an amazing job of adapt, overcome, and keep on going. So if you have an opportunity to visit, don't be afraid. You can eat. There's air conditioning. You can get back and forth to the airport, and I encourage you to do so.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, I would just like to reiterate that last month I did participate in Phi Theta Kappa's induction ceremony. It was awesome. Again, kudos to North Harris for inviting me. And what I found amazing was the students who came out of foster care. They were all leaders. It was amazing. And let me say, my husband and I are the proud grandparents of a beautiful grandson who came out of foster care. He is awesome. He is bright, and he's a winner. So hats off. It was great. And kudos to Phi Theta Kappa. Great, great job.
Thank you so much. Any others? Okay, I have just a few. And sometimes I leave stuff out in my record keeping. It's not good, and it's not meant to slight anybody. On the 24th of April, I attended the scholarship event at North Harris. And prior to that, I was at Sci-Fair. Had a great time interfacing with those students and staff members. Earlier this week, I had an opportunity to attend the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Got a chance to see the governor and listen to what the governor's intents are for the next few years. Last night, I attended a Live the Dream fundraiser dinner with Quentin and his staff. As I indicated earlier, I will be attending the Honors College event at Kingwood on tomorrow. And I think next year I will commit to go to UP Montgomery ahead of time. The only other thing I want to mention, I'm signed up for 4 graduation exercises this month, and I think I can make them all. You know, I enjoy those too, and I wanted to go to all of them, but the scheduling will not allow that. And the last thing, I was over at UP today going to my guitar class, and I dress as a student when I'm going to class. So I needed to have copies made. So I stopped in an office, and the young lady told me that I needed to go to the library. She couldn't make copies for students. And so somebody else ran out of the office and said, "Oh, we can make you a copy." I said, "No, I'm a student today. I need to go to the library." So, but and the reason why I mentioned that, you know, I like staff folks telling folks what everybody else does, and no one should get any special privileges. I don't expect any special privileges, and no one else should either. So Shaw, you've trained her well. Okay. But thanks for all the opportunities that you all give me to give back to society. Okay, if anybody else want to make any comments? If not, we will move on to, I don't think we have any board reports this month, but I mean board committees. So if that's true, let's move on to citizen participation. Helen, do we have anyone? One, okay. Mr. Burdoff, okay.
Good evening. I'm John Bergduff, representing the American Federation of Teachers. Over this coming summer, the administration and Board of Trustees will be completing the budget for Lone Star College for fiscal year 2020. With the financial setbacks the college has faced due to Hurricane Harvey and the corresponding flattening of enrollment growth, and with the uncertainty of state appropriations, we know that this will be a challenging task. Under these circumstances, we understand the gravity of any budget ask that the union or anyone else makes of you. Keeping the challenges you face as you build the budget firmly in mind, we would like to ask you to consider the status of one particular group of Lone Star employees, our adjunct faculty. Tonight, we'd like to advocate for a salary raise for adjuncts and a recommitment to faculty hiring to improve the percentage of our classes taught by full-time faculty. First, we would like to address salary. Adjuncts have not had a cost of living increase in 3 years, while based on Bureau of Labor Statistics data, the Consumer Price Index increased between February 2016 and February 2019 by approximately 6.5%. Texas Community College Teachers Association, TCCTA, reports data on adjuncts biannually for the 50 community college systems in the state of Texas. Based on their data, Lone Star adjuncts dropped from 12th in the state in salary to 18th between 2014 and 2018. Our current adjunct pay is lowest among the large multi-campus community college systems in the 5 largest metropolitan areas in Texas. Among the 10 community colleges serving Harris and surrounding counties, only Alvin, Lee, and Brazosport colleges pay less than we do. We currently pay our adjuncts at a rate of $41.75 per hour, but this is calculated only based on hours actually spent in the classroom. Accounting for time spent grading and preparing for class using workload measures suggested by the IRS, adjunct instructor pay is under $19 per hour, about what a manager at the convenience store Buc-ee's makes. A worthy goal of a college of our stature would be to strive to offer the highest pay in the state, but that would require a rate of over $65 per hour. The AFT recognizes that there is no way Lone Star can afford that all at once. A good step would be to simply increase adjunct pay by 6.5% to at least account for inflation. That would bring us to $44.50 per hour. This raise would bring us back up to 12th in the state and ahead of the other community colleges in the greater Houston area, but still below our other large urban peers. The second issue we'd like to address is a close companion of the first, the percentage of classes taught by adjunct faculty. According to the TCCTA, in 2014, 59% of all course sections offered at Lone Star were taught by adjunct faculty. Unfortunately, in spite of efforts the college has made to add full-time faculty, by 2018 that percentage had ticked upwards to 60% of all classes taught by adjunct faculty. This gives Lone Star the dubious distinction of being in last place among the 50 community colleges in Texas in percentage of courses taught by full-time faculty. Lone Star College has many distinctions of which we can all be proud, but this is not one of them. Over-reliance on adjunct faculty and low adjunct pay have a negative impact on our college. For adjunct faculty, a livable salary requires teaching an enormous load across several college systems. For full-time faculty, with fewer professors to share the load, college service such as committee work, mentoring and tutoring students, sponsoring student organizations, etc., is a heavier burden, taking time away from teaching. For students, although our adjunct faculty members are incredible, amazing teachers, they cannot be as available to students for outside help as full-time faculty can. We understand that this year's budget represents challenges, but in the midst of addressing those challenges, we ask you to see what you can do for our adjuncts. We hope you can find a way to give a significant cost of living increase to the one group of employees that has not seen a raise in 3 years, and we hope that you can refocus the college's commitment to create more full-time positions. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you, John. Okay. At this point, board members, we need to consider the consent agenda. And we have 14 items left, 2 through 15. Are there any items that you would like to have considered separately from items 2 through 15? If not, I would like to have a motion to adopt items 2 through 15.
So moved.
It's been moved, so moved. In a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt items 2 through 15. The motion has passed. Thank you. We don't need it. We don't. Well, it's unanimous on the consent agenda.
No, but you made a motion a second, but nobody voted on it.
Well, you don't, well, it's automatically, it's on the consent, nobody can vote no. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do that.
Don't
Okay.
we always do that?
No, no, we don't. On the consent agenda, you don't have to approve. It's automatic. Is that correct, Mario?
Don't we always, yeah, we always vote.
Okay, all right.
We need to vote.
I'm sorry. Okay, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. Okay. You ready, Jennifer?
Okay, good evening. You have in your materials, and I have a summary on the presentation here of the financial report. This is for the financial statements for the month ending March 31st, 2019. And I am going to say tonight, I believe I can be relatively brief because there's really no significant changes from the presentation in last month. So where we stand in terms of actual revenues as a percent of budget, this is September 1st through March 31st collected. We are at 79.7% or 304 million actual revenues collected. And this is relatively consistent with prior years. On expenses, you can see we are still trending low compared to prior years, again, ignoring last year. We're at 195 million of actual expenditures, which is 53.1% of our budgeted expenditures. And I believe this is partly due to budget cuts that we took knowingly with the reductions in student revenues. So here I moved first the slide showing cash reserves because again, there's really no significant change at all from prior month. Last month we were at 16.1%, small rounding change, now 16.2, now we're at 16.1% because it was just minor changes in our forecasts. So we are still forecasting to end this fiscal year, which is August 31st, at 59.4 million of cash reserves. And this still does continue to be below the budgeted amount of 17%. And again, just to quickly go through what has been shown in prior months of what is driving this forecasted variance is primarily in net revenues, we're 9.5 million below budgeted amount. About half of that comes from tuition and fees, and the other half, roughly speaking, in property taxes. And in expenditures, that negative revenue variance is offset by about 4.8 million of net expenditures that we're forecasting to be below budget. Most of that reductions that we took in response to the growth coming in below the 0% that was budgeted. So again, no significant changes in our forecast this month. An update on Fund 35, Harvey recovery. There, we are at 37.4 million in expenditures. This is up from 35.7 million last month. Of this, 32.9 million is for Kingwood, which is up from 31.2 million last month. So this is where our expenditures stand as of March 31st. The brief update that I have on FEMA, which is nothing that much significant change other than we are now on our 4th project manager representative from FEMA. We had gotten our 3rd one assigned in January of 2019, and then in March, that person went on some sort of leave, and we just got our 4th one assigned to us, who is now on site starting May 1st. We did have, I had mentioned last month, we had a portion of our submission get obligated, but we didn't accept it because there was a portion of it that we were disagreeing with FEMA on the reimbursement amount, and we sent them that documentation to show why they needed to reimburse us more than what they were doing so, and so far we've gotten no response on that documentation that we provided about end of March.
I'm just guessing we haven't gotten any more money from them either.
No, we have not. We still stand at about $5,000 in reimbursements from FEMA. We're still working it. But that is my update for the night.
Well, we appreciate your patience.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Okay, board members, do we have any future agenda items that you would like to have included? Yes, sir.
Turn my mic back on. And I'm in no hurry for this at all. I haven't talked to the administration, so sorry for not giving y'all a heads up, but been distracted lately. Would like a briefing on our marketing program. And I say that because I see billboards and I see a lot of TV commercials at home, pop-up ads on newsletters, just a lot of different activity. So I don't know where it came from, who's driving it, what our goals are, what our objectives are with advertising, how much money we spend. This is not a budget inquiry. This is a, how did we get here and what are we doing?
I'm smiling because we could do that tonight if you wanted to, but we just had a review earlier this week, so we've got all that laid out. So we'll do that at whenever you're ready. So we've got that. So.
Here's discretion, trust me.
Oh, well, I tell you, I've had some of the same observations, especially early in the mornings and in the evenings. I see Lone Star ads galore. They may have been there before, but I didn't notice them until the last year or so.
We got some new material that we want to show you, kind of a creative, different ideas. It's nothing radical, but it's geared more to some of our students than us, which it should be, right? I mean, we want you to see what we're marketing. We'll show it too. It's really good stuff. Yeah, but we'll get that to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Any other items? If not, we can now go home. Meeting's adjourned.